Here's a comment from Peter, and he's recommending a way that you can take information from one project and copy it into another project. And he talks about you can put any media in conversational clip. To do that, highlight the clip, right-click, go to conversational or compensational clip, I'm not sure. Open a new file, export, and import into a new file. Of course, we're trying to avoid the export portion here because that's where you could lose a resolution. So how do we transfer media from one project to another? I'm going to show you that, but I believe what he's talking about here is something that's found in another program. These are not the steps that you can use in Filmora. Here's a project in Filmora. And what we want to do is we don't want to take everything that's on the timeline and put it into a new project. We simply want to extract a small portion of it. And we can't just use the template suggestion. Even if we were to erase everything before it and after what we want to use, there is still the danger of bringing in media to the new project which we're not using in the new project, especially if you have something like a compound clip. So here I have a compound clip 1, and let me just expand that. So when you have a compound clip, it becomes part of the timeline, and it's located down here. You can switch between it and the main timeline. Because it exists here, it would get exported in a custom template, even though it's not part of the media. In other words, it no longer exists on the physical timeline, but it exists in here. So this is how we're going to work around that issue. Just follow these simple steps to create something that can be used in multiple projects. So we will just expand the section that we want to use, and we're going to select everything that's within that segment. We're going to create a compound clip by right-clicking on it, create compound clip. And it's going to be called 2 because we already have a compound clip number 1. So we say OK. Now that we have our compound clip, we right-click on it again, and then now we can save it as a custom. And when we do that, we go over here, and we're familiar with editing presets and our adjustment layers when we want to use that. But in the compound clip, this is where our custom clip has now been saved. It's on the main timeline. Remember, we had compound clip number 1, but now we also have compound clip number 2. But the fact that we've saved it here means that it will come up anytime that we start a new project. For example, here's a previous one that I had made, and it's sitting in here. Obviously, if I want to get rid of it, I could just right-click and delete it. Okay, we could restore this to its original form so that our original project is not disturbed just by going in and doing detach and in full range, and it would be stored. But we don't really have to worry about this because we're going to create our new project right now. Or if you were already working on a project, you would go into open recent, but we're just going to go to new project. And of course, we're going to get the default pop-up that says, do you want to save? And so we're just going to say, no, don't save. Because what we have here is already in our editing presets, compound clip, the media that we wanted to bring in. So that's the final step, sort of, with the exception, maybe you don't want it as a compound clip because you want to do further modifications to it. So again, you would right-click, detach compound clip, and just select full range. And we have now restored that compound clip, or rather we have restored the media that we selected out of the previous project into this new project. And that's how you do it. Just a small addendum here, and that is you see that the media not only was restored to the timeline, but it was also imported directly into your new project. And so I just want to reiterate, had you used the custom template, that is, you had deleted everything on the timeline except for the clip that you wanted to use and gone in and imported your template. If the the timeline contained another compound clip. And even though it was not on the timeline, that media would not be here on the timeline, but it would have been included in the media that you imported here, which is probably something you wouldn't want to do. Therefore, using this process of selecting your data and put it into a compound clip, save it as a custom, open up your new project or your other existing project, and then go into the compound clips and then just import it into your new project. Optionally, detach it and put it out in its full format.